interact with them, but you can give them tickets.
Yeah, we can give them tickets, certainly, and again, they're in the atmosphere, and they can see our football team compete. They can see the talent that's on the field and the interaction that they have with our team up close and personal, obviously, helps a lot relative to the recruiting process.
And so the atmospheres are terrific. When they're not in November, when basketball has started, I usually go as well. So I've experienced it firsthand. It is a terrific event, and you're returning to where this all started in 2009, before you got here, the first Shamrock Series game. And a repeat opponent, your first Shamrock Series game was against Army at Yankee Stadium.
It was in 2010, and again, coming into the game, we were in need of a victory, very similar to the situation that we're in right now with the team that, is really developing and probably played, at times their best football last week. Even though we came up short in terms of the win, they're doing a lot of really good things. So we're excited about getting back out on the field. Playing a triple option team is always a challenge when you're preparing, but I like the mindset of our team. And in November, a very close loss, obviously, and one that, we wish we could have had a play here or there. But, again, I think, coming into November, I think our team's playing pretty good.
I've mentioned to you before, and I did it again this week, stuck my head in practice a couple of days, and I talked to Isaac Rochelle about it. I've never been around a team that has had this many heartbreaking losses, 6 losses by a total of 29 points, less than 5 points a game, that doesn't have any noticeable reduction in enthusiasm. At this point, sometimes guys are going, I just want to get the season over. There's not that energy that you see every day in practice and the enthusiasm. And Isaac said, I think it's because not only do we believe we're going to be good, but we're so young. Yeah. So they understand. They can see that steps forward demonstrably. The veterans can see it, but so can the young guys. They know they're going to be real good real soon.
Yeah, I mean, on defense, there's 4 seniors, and on the offensive side of the ball, we don't have a senior in terms of, that has used up all their eligibility. So, you're really talking about a very few number of guys that have actually been through some of the difficult times in 2011 and 12. They weren't around here in 10, when we were going through this transition. So a lot of this is new for them. A lot of the things that they're experiencing relative to playing the game is educational. But, mental and physical toughness is improving each and every week. We've got to clean up, obviously, some of the more specifics about the game. Third down, we got to be better on third down. We've got to get off the field on third down. Red zone, obviously, efficiency. So now we're at that point where, in terms of winning games, there's no mystery why you lose a game by 1 point. They're giving us great attitude, great effort. Now you've got to convert in some of those important areas because we had no turnovers. We didn't give up any huge plays. And we didn't give them, the things that normally option teams get. So, again, I think it's the little things now that we've got to get taken care of.
And really, 21 first-year players, 14 true freshmen. You knew this coming in, but you're not going to talk about it because that's like you're doing excuses in advance. And you haven't talked about it much, but you and I have talked. For you, this is a first. And I don't care what you do, the first time you do something, and already in looking back, there's a few things with a team that's this young that you might have done a little bit differently to help them along. But I've been around a lot of young teams. Young teams are going to struggle a bit because they're young.
Well, the first thing is confidence. I think if you win the opener, I felt like if we needed to get off to a good start with this team, and you get a couple plays here against Texas, and you get a different outcome. We might be sitting here with a whole different scenario with a win against Texas.
Run a couple breaks. You didn't get a call there. You
could have got a call
got
here.
A funky
there.
call this weekend that shouldn't have been called, and people say that's excuses, but things even out. You go back to the 12-0 year.
Well, you got
everything.
Yeah.
So
missed field
hopefully
goals,
this is karma. You know. Well, and a lot of calls.
Yeah, we got some calls our way too. But I think more than anything else, you mentioned it earlier. Our guys are learning how to win football games, and that's the most important thing. And they're all going to be back next year. We lose some good players, but not the kind of numbers that we lost last year. We had 10 guys that are playing in the NFL right now. NFL leadership, obviously, we lost as well. So I think we're in a really good position. And, again, playing in November, I really like the way our defense in the last 4 weeks has gone from 103rd in the country to 50th. And, to make those kinds of jumps is really astonishing. And now our offense is settling into playing the more consistent football they need to. And I think we'll continue to do that.
One of the unusual things about the Navy game, maybe the outlier, was you only had 6 possessions. And I know my favorite drive was the one where you ran it 12 out of 14 plays, but it ate up a lot of time. And I know maybe you won't be taking as much time this weekend.
Well, I mean, when you get 6 possessions, which was the lowest in college football since 2008, you have to really measure those things about when you play a team like this that is a little bit different. You have to think about points and point production. Now, some would say, well, don't kick field goals and score touchdowns when you get in the red zone, and that's true too. But we have to obviously sustain drives, but we got to get the ball in the end zone in a rather expeditious fashion, and that means we have to have balance. There's no question, but we have big play capabilities, and we've got to take advantage of that.
And again, you yourself said, got to score every time. You scored 5 of 6 times, but if you go into a game like that and you only have 6 possessions, demanding that the only way you win is scoring every time doesn't leave you much margin for error.
Again, with 3 and out, we missed an open post to KJ Stefferson.
That could have been a touchdown.
Easily as a touchdown, and we're inches away. So, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? I mean, everybody has those when you lose, but, that's where we are right now. And when we make those plays, we'll extend ourselves away from opponents like this, and we'll find ourselves on the other side of it.
Health-wise, pretty good shape. You had 3 guys dinged up with we call it Tweety birds, but that makes it too cute. Concussion protocols that they went through this week. 2 of them are cleared?
Yes. So we'll have Julian Love back. He was cleared yesterday and went through full contact today. Drew Tranquil as well, and he was cleared for full contact today as well, and they both came out of it quite well. Daniel Cage is still having some symptoms, so he will see a specialist tomorrow and get further evaluated. And see where we go for him for next week.
That's a specialist you've used in the past. In fact, one of the leading concussion experts in the country. Used to work at the University of Michigan, now in private practice, but he's among the best, if he's not the best. Yeah,
we've used him in a number of situations. I think our staff really likes using him. Dr. Leisler really trusts his opinion. Corey Robinson has used him. We've sent a number of players over my time here up there, and we just like getting that kind of, I don't know if it's a second opinion, but somebody that's a specialist in working with these kind of concussions that are related to some form of contact. It gives us a peace of mind, and certainly for the players and the parents as well.
You mentioned Corey Robinson, and certainly folks on campus have not lost track of him. He's the student body president, and neither is the team. The average fan doesn't see him on the field anymore because he decided it was in his best interest, and you all agreed for him to stop playing, but he's a volunteer coach. I've been to practice. I watch him on the sidelines. Did you expect him to be adding as much as he is, in fact, adding in his role?
No, I didn't think he'd have the time. One of the things I thought that led him to not play, and certainly, medical was the most was the reason why he's not playing. But I thought another reason was his schedule was going to be so crazy that it was going to pull him away from the field. But he's been so committed each and every day. He's out at practice, working with our receivers, and they love having him there because he can give them his experiences. He can talk to them in a manner that they really can relate to, and he's been great for us.
One other story came up tonight at your press briefing before you come over here, and I wasn't aware of the story, but it just kind of stunned me that Alabama is bringing back former players and having them play on the scout team. I wasn't aware that was legal. It is legal. How beneficial can that be?
Well, I guess it depends on
the player. I don't know who they brought back specifically, but
right. They brought back Trent Richardson, former running back who played Leonard Fournette. And again, look, this is a college university. We're not in it to promote that end of it.
Shouldn't everybody on the field be a student on a college team?
That would be my understanding. But there are loopholes that some that feel as though they can. They're looking for look, let's call it the way it is. Nick does a great job of finding, ways to benefit his team, and that benefited his football team. And
I'm not criticizing him for doing it at all.
No, and I'm not saying
weird.
I'm not saying that you are. What I'm saying is he looks for all of these loopholes within the rules to try to benefit his team, and then they get closed, those loopholes, a few weeks later, because they're not collegial. They're not what college football is about. College football is to have guys on the field representing your university, enrolled in your university, and not former players. Doesn't make much sense to me. I get why they're doing it, but again, it's not something that I'm interested in doing here at Notre Dame.
When I just drew the line here, I hadn't thought about it before, but tonight one of our 3 player guests is a scout team former star. He's still on the scout team, but he's got a scholarship, Josh Anderson,
yes,
which is a great story.
Well, here's the other thing. For me, you take Josh Anderson. He got his opportunity to get a scholarship through his work on the scout team. So I think it's a great, opportunity for those guys to earn a scholarship, as a walk-on. It diminishes my take on the walk-on program when you bring in guys to take over those positions. So obviously now that LSU and Fournette, what happens this week? It's back to, John Smith. All right, you get the role now. It's back to you. I just think it diminishes the work that they do for the whole year, and it doesn't acknowledge, what kind of work that they do. And that's just my opinion as it relates to that.
I've always been a very bottom line guy. If it's legal, go ahead and do it if it helps you. But that's probably a loophole that they need to close. That is my opinion anyway. We got lots of questions for Coach Kelly. We'll get to some of them right after this timeout. It is the Brian Kelly Radio Show live from O'Rourke's Public House. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by TireRack.com. And while we're talking running, passing, and kicking, the experts at Tire Rack have cornering, traction, and performance of a different kind in their minds. That's why you'll be able to get your tires right at TireRack.com. Find, deliver, install smarter. Of course, the question's always presented by TireRack.com. Dean from South Bend is here. Dean would like to know how much time you spend in practice on special teams.
Each day we spend a little bit of different time. Today we spent about 25 minutes of about an hour and a half on special teams. So today's a big special teams day for us. Wednesdays were 15 minutes on special teams, then 5 minutes in our pre-practice, so 20 minutes in total. Just to put that in perspective in terms of our full team time, our full team time is about 35 minutes for full team. So a good amount of special teams in terms of the breakdown for the entire practice is spent on special teams. Probably I would say when you break it out for the entire week, it's probably a 60-40 split with special teams and offense, defense.
And it is a considerable commitment because you have always used some frontline players on your special teams. It's not like it's second and third line players.
Yeah, and obviously you have to be very careful because, during the practice, we have GPS units on our players. We want to be very careful about the volume in the terms of the running because these are running teams as well. So we have to place those special teams at times in practice where we can get these guys a little bit of a rest prior to going back to their defense or offensive responsibilities. So strategically placing them in there during the week is important as well.
Jerry Liss, as always, is here. He's from South Bend. He knows you're a baseball fan, so he wants to know, did you watch Game 7 of the World Series? Go Cubs.
I did. I watched Game 7, and, obviously, the last couple of games were, one of them was not as exciting as the next, but, I think everybody, as coaches, we get caught up in the kind of the tactical decision making as well, and that was certainly an interesting way to finish it up for the Cubs. But I know my son went to the Cubs celebration, and he said it was an amazing scene.
There were people 3 blocks away. I don't know what they saw, but they were part of it.
Yeah, it was.
After 108 years, I understand that.
Yeah, you got to go.
See, they didn't have duck boats. They couldn't put them through the river like they do in the Charles. The duck boats everybody can see from the shoreline in Boston. Bill from Granger is here. Coach, after more than 2 decades as a head coach with all your experiences, what's been the most difficult thing for you this year?
The difficult part, I think probably when you're doing all the little things, like you've done all your career, demanding the same things but not getting the results maybe, because you're not going to change anything that you do. You're always looking to improve every year. I'm always out there looking for better ways to communicate, better ways to run things. But probably the most frustrating thing is that when you know that you prepared your team and put them in a good position and that they're not finding a way to win, that's probably the most difficult.
Natural Baptiste, our cameraman, has another question for you. He's a freshman at Notre Dame. He's from Brooklyn, and he's jumping to the holiday. He wants to know what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is.
I like the side, root vegetables. I like squash and turnip, and a lot of people don't like those, but I kind of like those. Who doesn't like the things that come after, right? The pumpkin pie has got to be one of them. But those things that you don't get during the year, you don't sit down and have squash and turnips and casseroles and those kinds of things. So I kind of like that because you get turkey, but I think it's all the other things around it.
It'll come as no surprise. I like the dressing and the gravy. And you don't get that during the year with the turkey either.
No.
Turkey's usually healthy.
Yeah.
That makes it tasty but not healthy.
Yeah.
Tom Zwiller from St. Joe, Michigan is here. It's a tricky question because we can't talk about specific players, but he would like to know, based on incoming prospects and the talent and skill of these prospects, how do you think that your recruiting class will impact your team next year?
Well, it certainly there will be players in this freshman class that will be on the field when we open up next year against Temple. I believe we open up against Temple, don't we?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. They'll be on the field. I think the biggest impact will be the core of players that we're developing right now. They're the impactful players, the ones that we're dealing with right now. But no question that within that class, there are some extremely talented players on both sides of the ball, and maybe even a few on offense that can be impactful on the offensive side of the ball.
Bill from Warsaw is here. With your players now graduating or leaving in 3 to 4 years on a regular basis, have you had to adjust how you recruit?
Well, there is an adjustment period that we've had to kind of recalibrate how we decide to, play players. In other words, it really doesn't benefit you to not play a kid that's ready to play. If he can help you in some fashion, you should get him out on the field. And therein is part of the rub. In other words, they don't have a chance to develop to the level that I would like to normally develop a player. We got to throw them out there because if they don't play in this first year, everybody calls it a redshirt year. But what it is, it's a full year of academics that they're ahead in the classroom. And it's really, even though they're called a redshirt freshman the next year, they're a sophomore. And then you may never get that year back for them in terms of playing for you. So we've decided let's just play them as freshmen and let that be the learning experience. So when they come back as sophomores, many of them would be redshirt freshmen in other programs. For us, they're going to be sophomores with experience, and that's going to be the look of our football team, that they're going to be sophomores and juniors, and that's going to be the core nucleus. So it changes in the sense that you're going to have to play a lot more true freshmen and just make sure that they're mixed in with some more veterans.
I mean, I'm sure you've noticed the sign in the hallway outside Jack Swarbrick's office, the quote from Jesse Harper that says, at Notre Dame, athletics will always be secondary to academics. So that's what they're supposed to do here. They're supposed to go to class and graduate at the same time, or since they're here in the summer, before even some of their classmates. So at most schools, the redshirt freshman isn't going to graduate in 4 years. They will graduate here. And you also have this new edition of the recently passed graduate transfer rule, where if you've passed all your courses and you have a year of eligibility left, you can go anywhere you want and you don't have to sit out a year. And some of your players have done that.
Well, we've had more players that if they can go somewhere else and start. Matt Hegarty, for example, was going to be a backup center for us and last year, and been a really valuable player for us, started at Oregon, for example. So, you know, those guys want to go out and play in their senior year after they've gotten their degree already from Notre Dame.
You don't blame them for that.
No, and so you're left with you losing all these guys, and you're putting all this time and effort into them, and then you don't have them anymore. So why not play them as freshmen?
Paul from South Bend is here. With all the changes you've made on defense, what are you most pleased with so far about the defense's progress?
I think probably the defensive coaches and the way that they have handled things, you know, with, you know, the day-to-day organization. You know, I think all the coaches have really come together and now have done a great job teaching the fundamentals. I think that's probably what stands out to me more than anything else, is teaching the fundamentals and then those kids playing with a great deal of confidence. Those two things stand out the most.
And I'm not asking you to talk about the future or make any commitments, but in talking with the players, they have really enjoyed what Greg Hudson's brought to the table.
Yeah, I mean, Greg has obviously got a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Notre Dame grad who loves, obviously, Notre Dame. You know, he has an investment in this university, and he's great with the kids. And it was great to have him, you know, be here at that time. And, you know, Todd Light's done a great job. Here's another guy that played here and won a championship, and he's got a great investment in Notre Dame. And then Mike Elston, who's been with me now, you know, 13 years, who knows exactly the way I want things done. You know, he's been great. And Keith Gilmore, who's been with me. So you got two guys that have been with me a long, long time that know how I like to operate. And then you've got Notre Dame guys. And so that's a nice balance for us.
And we have, it's not really a question, it's just a comment from Lisa M. in Granger. I just want to wish the team good luck and go Irish. Lisa, thank you. When we come back, it's running backs night. You're going to meet some of the running backs on the Brian Kelly Radio Show, presented by TireRack.com, live from O'Rourke's Public House. That's like running a no-huddle offense, isn't it? We're back here on the Brian Kelly Radio Show. We've got our running backs up here, Josh Adams, Dexter Williams, Josh Anderson. Don't read anything into it. Tarian wasn't available. We haven't banished him from the roster. Guys, welcome to the Brian Kelly Radio Show.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Practice a little shorter today. You like that? Or did you start later? You got done a little earlier. It was a little warmer today because earlier this week I was always a little chilly. Everybody saying, "Hey, coach, we're playing indoors. What are we doing outside? We can go inside."
That's what I'm saying.
All right, Josh, we'll start with you. Kept it kind of quiet. I was down there in Culver when you tweaked the hamstring.
Right.
You've been battling that, but you look like you're kind of getting back to full strength now.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Just trying to go ahead and get my body right and trying to go in each game getting better and getting stronger. So I'm definitely feeling amazing.
Folks, last year Josh averaged 7.14 yards per carry. That would have ranked fourth in the nation. Rushed for 835 yards as a freshman. That's the best ever at Notre Dame. And I know you're having a good year, but you're expecting to take this to new heights pretty soon, right?
I'm just blessed to be able to go out there and play. And I'm always looking to improve my game and to get better and just go out there and have fun and compete. So it's just a blessing to be here.
All right, I know to you guys, you kind of know Miami, special to us old folks from the series when it was hot, but that 41-yard touchdown run that you pulled off against Miami, a huge deal. I know the folks at home right now are looking at your touchdown run against Duke, but the one against Miami that tied the game, beating Miami is a big deal to those of us who were around here in the 80s, I'll tell you that. Talk about that, about just bursting through, and that's when I thought, yeah, he's back.
That was just great for us as an offense to go out there and assert our dominance. You know, being down late in the game, we really wanted to be the aggressors and go out there and prove that when the game is on the line, you know, we can step up to the challenge. And it was just great for all of us to execute when we needed to and get things done how we need to do it. So it was just amazing to go out there and kind of get the score and really try to be the ones to take the game to them. So it was amazing.
And folks watching on Watch ND right now are seeing that run. You're in the open field. Nick Wisher helps you a little bit. He had a nice little block there. That's got to be the best feeling in the world for the running back, to turn that edge and see nothing but green turf in front of you in the end zone.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dexter, welcome to the show.
How you doing?
You've had some very impressive runs this year, some really good power runs. One against Duke, that 13-yard run, which was as physical a run as we've had around here for a touchdown in a while. Do you remember that? Can you talk about that?
So basically,
It's up on the screen.
yeah. So basically, it was.
Well, that's the shorter one.
Play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So basically, coach just called my name and said, "Dexter, get in. You got to make a play for us." And it was my time and my opportunity to show the coaches what I could do. And as soon as I got in the game, I just knew just run as hard as I could and just go out and have fun and just compete.
I know that was whenever your mom shows up. I know it's a special game for you and your mom. I mean, that's the run I was talking about there, where they tried to tackle you, but you said, "Not today. You're not bringing me down at all." And after this touchdown, you point to your mom in the stands, and she has later said that she saw that, she just started crying. Talk about the battle that she's been going through since, my goodness, I think 2006.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. So basically, she has myasthenia gravis, and basically it's just a rare disease it's a disease that you don't see often. So basically, it just it affects her muscles and her ability to talk and move. And sometimes, if it gets bad, it can actually put her in a coma.
Which has happened a few times.
Yes.
She has to have chemotherapy for this as well.
Yes.
And not to be maudlin, but this can end a person's life, and she's just decided that she needs to be here for you, so that's not happening. That has to mean a lot to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does mean a lot to me. And just receiving her support, no matter if she's home or here, I just know she's always with me. And I know she always she sends me a text before every game, and she always tell me to go out and do my best and have fun.
And she was at the Miami and Navy games as well?
Yeah.
All right. Josh, welcome to the show. Now, when did you know the fight song since you went to Notre Dame High School? In Sherman Oaks, California.
Yep, Sherman Oaks, California. So I've known the alma mater and all that for a while.
But maybe more importantly, your dad went here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My dad went here back in the 70s, so he's a little bit older. But yeah, he was kind of my rock growing up. So he's the reason I've always been a Notre Dame fan.
You know, when I talk to some former players, they say, no, they didn't force their sons or daughters to come to Notre Dame. What I've been reading is your dad never backed off his desire to have you come to Notre Dame.
Kinda. You know, he's always been supportive with whatever I wanted to do, and that kind of made me want to be like him. So of course, maybe it was like he was trying to do it secretly, but I had to go to Notre Dame.
When you heard our earlier discussion about walk-ons, and you could have gotten a scholarship to play football somewhere else. You were also basically offered a scholarship. Well, everybody who goes to the Naval Academy is on scholarship, but they wanted you to go there and I think shot put at the Navy?
Yeah, shot put.
So it came down to Notre Dame or Navy.
Yep.
So what was it Dad that pushed it with the visit? And then I know Coach Kelly always says this, you got to get recruits on campus, and that makes the difference. And you had been there before, but it was your recruiting visit here before, but it was your recruiting visit that really pushed it over the top.
That pushed it. And Notre Dame's just a special place. The first time I came here, I just knew I'm going to do whatever it takes to get here. And the moment I got in was the best moment of my life. So even the Naval Academy is great. It's an amazing institution. I remember getting the admissions letter. It's this big packet with Blue Angels on the front. It's amazing, but there's nothing like getting that packet from Notre Dame. It's something special.
Well, you're not a walk-on anymore. That changed before last season. You knew it. You guys didn't know it when he came in to be the model of that year's Shamrock Series uniform. We've got the video up on Watch ND right now, but this is where Coach Kelly told everybody that you are now on full scholarship. And I tell you what, that's a lot of love from your teammates right there. What was going through your mind when this happened?
I was just kind of speechless. Honestly, the best moment of my life thus far. My greatest accomplishment for sure. I've worked harder than I ever have in my entire life to get there. And like even this, I'm always gonna have this to look at. It's always something I'll have. And I still can't believe it. And it's been what, a year and a half?
Well, and again, I think I misspoke. You did not know. You just
Yeah,
thought
no,
they
I
had picked
didn't
you to
know.
go out there and model the uniform.
Yeah.
And then he turns to you and goes, "You got a scholarship," which you had told your dad you were going to do.
Yeah, that was my goal. That was my goal coming in. I like to set my goals high, and then if I get there, I get there, and that's kind of where I leave it.
Guys, why is he so respected on the team?
Man, he the man right there. That's why he respected. He's since we came in, he just was helping us out, making sure that we had what we needed, calling us, making sure that we were straight. I mean, that's one of our brothers, and he looks out for our well-being, outside of the football field. So when you talk about a brotherhood, you talking about building families, and it's because of people like him. Regardless if he knew he was going to play or not, he's taking care of us. He's making sure that we're okay. We're making sure that we're learning the playbook, and we're staying focused. So you just gotta love it.
You've already graduated, and you didn't take the easy way out. You got a degree in pre-professional studies, which is usually kind of Notre Dame's version of pre-med. Is that the
Yeah.
direction in the College
Yeah.
of Science? And now you're in the Institute for Global Health, and you're working on a master's in
Yep.
global health. What is that?
So basically, I study infectious diseases, which is, I kind of like that stuff. I'm big into
Well, curing them. You don't want, yes,
curing
I
them, of
understand,
course.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically, I have another kind of like semester and a half at Notre Dame. I'm doing the spring semester, and then during the summer, I'm going abroad to Ethiopia to do research in Ethiopia on leishmania and malaria, which is going to be a super cool experience. I'm excited for that. And then come back and get my degree.
So you'll be here in the fall,
I'll be toward the end of the summer.
towards the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Dexter, don't feel bad, because film, television, theater, I think that's very important, a very important degree, and you can have a great career doing that. So why'd you choose that?
I choose television because it's something that I really just love television, and also just watching Dexter's Laboratory, and it was something that inspired me, just having a show named after me. And also, I just wanted to really just get to know how to like work those cameras, like make my own TV show, and also just probably just become a producer. And I just really just want to know what goes on behind the scenes.
And actually, the field is expanding, and I mean this honestly. The most effective means of communication is video communication. So we might get to a point where there's not standard TV in your room all the time, but you'll be picking out what you want to watch. But when you want to get something across to people, today it's normally a video, regardless of what it is. So that's a really, I think, a career with a great future. So I know you've probably have you taken Ted Mandel's course yet? Have you gotten that far yet?
No,
The professor over there? Well, you're going to get there. But what have you liked so far? What have you been able to do? Because still as an underclassman, I don't know how many of your courses you've been able to take yet.
So right now I'm taking theater, and also I just did my first play, so it was a great experience. Just working with a group and just showing like what all it takes just to make a play, and what goes on behind the scenes, like theater, just knowing like the different types of theaters, and just going back in times of just like the ancient times of how they did theaters back then, and just how it transformed to now. It's just been a great experience, just learning all those different types of theaters, and I just plan on learning more.
Do you ever think of acting?
No.
No, not that. Now, one of my favorite classes in college many, many years ago was psychology. You're majoring in psychology.
Yeah.
What do you think you'll do with that?
That's actually one of my hardest classes is a psychology class. But I mean, I think it's amazing just to take a look at how people think and how they react to different things. I took a social psychology class in the summer, learning about how people react in society and why they do the things they do in society. I think that the more I learn about that, the better I can have an impact on other people. Something I really want to do is have a positive impact on the younger generation and help kids out who are trying to figure out what they're trying to do, just like I was. Maybe you're not, you don't want to play sports. Let's help you figure out to do something else. So I just feel like psychology is the best way for me to go down that path and just to figure out, how people's minds work and how I can help improve that and add a little positivity to it. So that's a big reason why I chose psychology.
Now, they always say that there are mind games played on the football field with opponents. Does psychology ever help you all on the football field?
No, I think if I start thinking about psychology on the football field, I'm going to go crazy. But
Well, you're not in a position to do that. Your job is to get the ball and hit the hole and do what you're supposed to do or throw a block. I guess if you were a DB, it might help because I've heard the DB's a little chatty.
Yeah, DB's always talking. They always talking. Don't matter if they get burnt for 60 or they get a knockdown. They just going to keep talking.
Well, they're told to forget the bad stuff.
Yeah.
They just remember the tips and interceptions and tackles. They don't remember getting burnt. Yeah. Because otherwise you can't play that position.
Right.
Folks, we have not forgotten the 60-second drill. That's coming up with these three guys right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Welcome back. Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Now, this is unusual because normally when guys get on this show, they've done this 60-second drill either on the radio or we used to have a luncheon that has since been disbanded or on TV. These guys have never done it before. So I gave them a little prep. Let's see how they do. First of all, what is your favorite all-time movie?
Friday.
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah. That's
Okay. First car you ever drove?
A Honda Civic.
All right.
Ford Explorer.
Ford Explorer.
Yeah.
Toyota Corolla.
All right. Big car, little cars. Favorite musical group or artist?
Meek Mill.
Kodak Black.
I like Kanye.
All right. Now, this one is for each of you. One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
Whoa. Yeah.
There you go. I don't know.
This may be a classic no comment.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no comment. They can answer that.
Well, I think they have answers, but they're using their Notre Dame filters right now. So we'll just move right along. Where's your favorite spot at Notre Dame to hang out?
I like the Grotto.
I would say the same.
St. Mary's Lake.
Both magical
the lake.
places. Across from the car.
Yeah, right
All
there.
Thoughts on the video board you'll be seeing in the stadium next year? What do you think?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't
I
wait
think it's
to
gonna
just
be
watch
super
myself
cool.
run.
That's going to be nice.
It is going to be cool.
It's going to be super cool.
Player on the team most like you?
Dex.
I would say Josh, too.
All right. Good bond in there. Best nickname on the team and who has it?
Josh, I call him Lil Doodoo.
Nah, he called everybody Little Dude. That don't work for
I
me.
call him Lil Doodoo.
All right, I see that.
Josh.
I see
Nickname.
that. The nickname? I don't know.
All right.
I can't answer that one.
Best player to room with on the road?
On the road.
You don't get to choose. You get assigned.
Right. I don't know how other roommates do it, but I got Tony Jones, so
All right.
he's pretty good.
One thing you always hear from Coach Kelly at practice.
Deshaun!
Yeah.
All right. One thing you always hear from Coach Denson in practice.
What you got?
Oh, so you don't like that money out there on the field? You gonna leave that money out there?
You gonna leave all that money out there?
They're good because that's exactly what he sounds like. Okay, assistant coach who's most like Coach Kelly.
Assistant coach.
That's a tough one.
That's tough.
Nah.
I really don't know.
Nobody.
Yeah,
he's his own.
He's his own person. That's Coach Kelly, man.
Yeah.
You're all getting more carries. Hardest hitter on the team.
I would say probably Niles Morgan.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, no.
Miles?
All right, guys. I promise. Here's the good ones. Best dancer on the team.
Oh, that's me.
Josh.
Oh,
That's
Josh.
No question. All right. Any
I'll
argument
give
there?
it to you. I'll give it to
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Best comedian on the team.
Jay
Tavon
Hayes.
Coney.
You think
Who you?
Jay Hayes, bro?
Jay Hayes. Nah, I'm gonna go Jay Hayes.
All right.
Tavon.
Jay Hayes.
Best dresser on the team.
Wimbush?
Wimbush always
yeah.
dressed nice.
He's looking
day.
fresh.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Worst dresser on the team.
No, it's not Josh.
Whoa.
Who is the worst?
Whoa.
Where's that?
They usually don't do the guy that's sitting there.
No, that's my dog. Who is the worst?
I would say. I'm not sure.
You
I'm
guys
not
are
sure.
generous.
Yeah, it's
These
a
are
tough
nice
one.
guys.
I'm not sure.
Jay Hayes. Jay, they got a little prompting from the head coach there.
Yeah.
Player on the team most likely to become a football coach.
Maybe like Gummy.
Gummy.
Yeah.
Gummy.
Yep.
Yeah, probably Gummy.
Finally, best thing about playing for Notre Dame.
Running out the tunnel.
Running out the tunnel, seeing the fans. It's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's
Teammates.
nothing
My
like
brothers. Teammates.
All that.
Brotherhood.
Great answers all. Josh Adams, Josh Anderson, Dexter Williams. Guys, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good luck Saturday. We'll be back with more of the Brian Kelly Radio Show right after this. Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House, presented by TireRack.com. We're doing this a little reverse order, but, I mean, those are three impressive young men who were just up here. So let's go down the line. Let's start with Josh Adams and your thoughts on him.
Well, we recruited Josh coming out of Pennsylvania, and he didn't have a lot of fanfare because he had an injury and kind of got overlooked going into senior year. He had an injury as a junior, and then he just kind of blossomed as a senior. As you can tell, he's long, athletic, and just a great family, great personality, and just you can see there's a lot of energy with the group. Because then you go to Dexter, and again, he brings that same kind of energy. And if he doesn't have that energy, I kind of get on him because if he's not upbeat and excited, then there's something wrong. And to have those two guys and their passion to play is really infectious for everybody.
And Dexter always has that, and not to bring up a bad memory, but even one of your toughest moments this year, the Duke game, he was one of the guys that was keeping everybody up.
He did, and he helped the team the next week as well in terms of making sure that everybody was doing the right things and had the right attitude. And of course, Josh Anderson is just you heard his his bio in terms of what he's done. Loves to play, loves Notre Dame. Got his degree. He's going to make a difference in the world, and that's what makes coaching at Notre Dame different from anywhere else. Is that you get the chance to be around guys like this, and coaches too. Autry Denson is here, the running back coach. Autry's here with his beautiful family. They're right behind it. Autry, as you know, all-time leading rusher here at Notre Dame, and coaches the running backs and does a terrific job. And his wife is here, and she does a terrific job with that beautiful family they've got back there, too.
Right, Autry, with the lights, I didn't know you were here, so sorry about having them impersonate you, but I thought they got you pretty good. I really do.
Yeah, he's, Autry stays low-key, but he makes himself noticed on the practice field with those guys.
Well, and he's also, I know he's done a tremendous job recruiting for you in the state of Florida, and he is enormously respected in that state.
He does. As a former high school coach there as well, he's got great contacts and great connections, and he hurried over here from fellowship. He has our fellowship in after practice as well. So, brings that spiritual component to our, program as well. So, obviously a big piece of all those things that are important to us.
As we wrap up this segment, before we take our final timeout, as you heard, Josh Anderson is going to get his master's degree in global health, and then he's going to take the easy way out. He's going to go to medical school and be a doctor.
Yeah, well, before he does that, he's going to go to Ethiopia and help out in a third world country. So, that's just, again, the kind of kids that we get an opportunity to be around, and it's pretty special.
We'll be back to wrap things up on this edition of the Brian Kelly Radio Show right after this. We're back on the Brian Kelly Radio Show, reminding you Norfolk Southern wants you to make the next game. Slow down, look both ways, and never try to beat a train. Cross railroad tracks carefully. Get home safely tonight, folks. To learn more, go to braineysworld.com. Army, they're turning their program around. 5-4. They've had some big wins, and it's another challenge of stopping a triple option attack.
Control the line of scrimmage. Don't give up the big plays. Fundamentally sound, eye discipline on defense. And then offensively, take care of the football and got to get it in the end zone. Can't settle for field goals. If we do that, win the kicking game. Very, very important to win the kicking game. Do all those things. We can come up with a W and get one on the road. It's one that the Fighting Irish need.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck Saturday, folks. 3:30 Saturday. We'll be back here next week, our final Brian Kelly radio show of the season. Next week, 7:30 right here at O'Rourke's Public House. Until then, thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and go Irish.
The Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House is presented by the experts at TireRack.com and is brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. And is also brought to you by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Great Clips, Nissan, Norfolk Southern, St. Joseph Health System, and South Bend Orthopedics.